What's going on, YouTube? I was actually building a Backdraft 80. I was going to do just like a regular Backdraft, my custom Terramoto look I did with a couple of them I sold. But somewhere in the middle, I was digging through a shredder bin and decided to pull out the wider arms and basically made another crazy earthquake. Might need to do bigger tires now because I don't think these Terramoto tires are going to cut it, but might go shredder. Throw some shredder tires on here and see what it looks like. But basically, again, this is what you can do with a custom earthquake. Basically, the setup I sell here. I mean, obviously, here's some of the parts here. I still got to do the rear end, but basically, I had added so much workload onto myself. All I had to do was cut the spot for the Terramoto motor to fit. Had to chisel out a little bit, make sure I got the steering, because this rubs right up against the one side of the servo saver. So I had to make sure I got the steering basically where it could actually turn smoothly, whatever. And that's not in the little Dremel. Chiseled out a little bit, so I'll put all this back on. It's nice and solid. I mean, it's just like the big truck I built. I mean, I had to do the same thing, but that's basically what it takes to put these bigger motors in here. But it's well worth it. I mean, the outcome. I mean, this this thing was going to be just a backdraft, but they tip. I mean, I do like the backdraft, but it tips. So I was like, man, I could go a little bit wider. Thought I'd give it a shot, see what it looks like. I mean, it looks a little ridiculous right now. Like I said, I think it's the tires, but we'll see how it comes together. But I'm eager to get this thing finished. Did go with the Backdraft 46 tooth spur. I have a 17 on it right now, but the 17 was actually for the 49, but I wound up using the 49. I'm going to put that in the shredder. This is another project. I probably might do a video on this one as well. Back to this. So when you're doing the wider arms and your things, I mean, it's real simple. I mean, literally, it took me maybe an extra 25 minutes from what I was originally going to do. I mean, literally just pop these 4 screws off, and obviously the front or the rear as well. And you can just pull the whole diff off. It's just easier to disassemble it. You put it all back together, put the arms on. I mean, if you decide to do this and get the upgrades for the steering knuckles and things at the same time, I mean, you could pretty much build this and, pop it off, take the diff off, put the diff back in the center, slap it back on, and be done real quick. This takes a little bit of time. It's taking all the pins and stuff out, so that is one of the problems. Other than that, I mean, it's a piece of cake to do. I'm really looking forward to getting this thing out running. See, I know this is going to be a little torquey because the 17 tooth pinion I got on it, but probably ideal would be 18, 19 on that. I think 19 is actually stock for this tooth, but like I said, I didn't plan on having that pinion in. I'll probably go to the hobby shop in my local area tomorrow and see if I can't pick up maybe an 18 or 19, because I have a feeling the motor, I mean, if anybody's seen the earthquake video I did with the truck, I mean, those tires balloon, they pancake up, especially when it wheelies. I designed this, I got the shocks sitting in more of an offset. I mean, I want this to stay on the ground a little better. I'm hoping the smaller tires, the point of the smaller tires was to keep it low. Yeah, it's one thing. I mean, looking at it, I might want to go big, or might play around if I'm taking out the dirt and put the shredder tires or something on it. But I really don't know, because I don't want this thing wheeling up on me. It's not it's not a buggy. I want it to be a low riding. I'll put some real lightweight shock oil in it. Took the sway bar off the front. Left it on the rear, but I don't know. I might throw it back on there. But either way, I just want this thing to stay down and lean, get a little bit of, I mean, it's gonna be hard to flip. It really is. So the first run video will be coming for this. I do the first run video right around the same time I'm finishing up with, giving a final look at it, maybe lead into the first run video on it. But I always like to take my trucks out and get that first run video for the first time, on camera, basically. If I'm messing up, or basically what you would get when you're getting it as well, and how your reaction would be if you did something like this. It's like the TRMT 80. I pulled that trigger the first time. I was babying it. I was prepared for it to be a fast truck, and straight up did a backflip. Just not ready for it. So it's always good to see that kind of thing. All right, I got some more work to do, so I'm gonna get this thing back together. If I get it all together tonight, I might get a couple final shots of it on camera. All right, well, I got it ready to go. Everything. Well, I still got to do a couple things to it, but I'm working on the body right now. That's the look that I wanted, but now I have that wheelbase, so I'm hoping it doesn't look as bad with just those, with all 4 tires on and with actually the rear end on, even though it's that wide. But I may still play around and just see what she looks like with the shredder tires on it. If nothing else, just for an alternative. Plus, I'm sure it'll give it a tougher, meaner look, especially in that rear. And it'll raise it up some. Alright, well, we'll get a body on, see what it looks like. And then, I guess maybe play around with the tires. Alright, so I got the body done. It's on, ready to go. I love the way this body fits. It hugs that little plastic chassis, which is the only reason I really left that on there on this build. Usually I take that off because it just traps dirt and stuff, but this is such a tight fit. Might actually keep stuff out. See, I got this thing a little dirty today trying to take it out. It was a little icy this morning, so they had salted the road, and once I saw I didn't really have the traction, I stopped. I want to try to get a top speed run on this thing. I'm estimating it's going to do, at least 55. Just going off the monster truck build. So, but either way, this is basically, I just wanted to show you guys. This is basically something. Anybody has a backdraft or you have an earthquake, you can build. This thing, I don't have anything for scale purposes. Maybe a remote. Actually, I do have a stock earthquake we could break out and take a look at. But there's the remote. Again, this one's not as massive looking as the monster truck because the tires aren't as big, but it's still the same wide body kit that I sell on my website for these vehicles. Any earthquake, any backdraft, any aftershock. The arm systems are all basically the same, so I do have the upgraded shock towers on this one. Like I said, I think I mentioned it before, but it's exposed. I think it just gives it a sharper look in the front and rear. Alright, so, this is, let's get this off. Let's see what I did under here. This is, one of these I'm going to wind up selling, either this or the monster truck. I don't really need 2 vehicles, and they're both exactly the same thing. I got the Terramoto motor on. I had to, cut out little notches here on the upper chassis and chisel out a little bit here to get this to fit nicely, but after all, it actually fits, so it worked out pretty well. I got the new ESC on it. I got 2 brand new batteries I just threw in. Like I said, this thing's had a quarter run. I had to stop it, but everything you're seeing under here is all brand new. The tires were brand new. The arms, suspension system, the shock towers, the wing, everything's brand new on this thing except for the chassis pretty much. I had to replace everything in the drive shafts. And the center diff I upgraded with the steel spur and pinion. So these things have been fully upgraded. Basically just I wanted to see the potential of the vehicle. I know the potential of the chassis, but I want to see the potential of this motor on this chassis, which I haven't done yet. I've been wanting to do it. I put a couple shredder motors that I did some breakdown and some flops when I was doing my Terramoto conversions. I put some of those motors on here, and it was the same length, and I had to do the same thing. So I was familiar with the cutout. But as far as this powerful motor on this thing, in the Terramoto, like I was saying, it doesn't act and perform the same way with this direct pinion to spur ratio that this thing has. This is the backdraft, so I went with the 46 tooth pinion. 46 tooth spur and the 19 tooth pinion, which is more designed for top speed. But I'm pretty sure this thing's going to have torque if I threw those shredder tires on this thing, or if basically wanted to put the avalanche tires, which I have on a monster truck on here. I would imagine I'm not going to lack any torque considering how much torque that thing had. So I'll get you some comparisons here of these, show you what you're looking at. The website has the prices on there if you don't need the 17 millimeters, you just want to widen one of these things. Obviously, if you got a Backdraft, you already have 17 millimeter. Maybe you like the tire look, which is more of an all-terrain tire. It's a Tire Moto 10 tire, nothing special, but it's just my favorite road tire to use on these kind of buggies, or like the blackouts, Calderas, things like that. I love to use these tires. Of the Redcat collection. I mean, there's plenty of other tires out there you can use, but speaking in the Redcat collection, these are the ones I like to use. All right, we're going to get this thing compared to the other ones real quick. I'll be right back. All right, so here they are, size comparison wise. I mean, they're basically the exact same trucks. I'm probably going, like I said, the reason I'm probably going to sell this thing. I mean, I love the truck. Don't get me wrong. This is actually probably my favorite truck to drive, and I've only ran it twice. We got some snow coming this weekend. I'll probably make it my third run, hopefully with the snow video, and then I'll probably put this one up for sale because basically, with the 4 screws off here and taking the wing assembly off here, basically with 6 screws. I think it's 2 here, 2 here, and then of course the top 2 to the shock, and then of course the 3 screws on the bottom. Once that's off, basically you pop the bumpers back on, the 4 bolts off on the tires, and I've got my monster truck back. I mean, it's basically the same thing. You throw 2 body posts on there. It's like literally at that point, it's maybe a 15-20 minute conversion max. So I don't need 2 of the same vehicles. I built one of these to keep and one of them to sell. So I'm down to that point now. Which one do I want? I don't have a buggy yet in my collection, so I love that look. And I built this based on what I sold my customer, and I really missed it. So I'm not going to go back on what that was. So with that being said, this one's probably going to be the one I'm going to be selling, but not here nor there. I mean, regardless, this video isn't really about to sell this truck as much as it is to show you guys the design about it, but just let you know that truck is going to be up for options, and if anybody watching this video is interested in it, obviously it's first come, first serve. Don't have a price down exactly for it yet. I'm working out the numbers because I was just kind of throwing parts together, building what I needed to make these things work. So now I know exactly what I need to do to resell these things and basically sell the kits, and that's kind of where I'm at now. So I tried it. It works. It looks great on video. It runs great in person. So again, we'll dig into this one a little bit more. And actually, this body mount isn't made for this Avalanche right now, so it was still set to my 1/10 scale body, which was right here. Personally, I love that body more than anything. Now, this is a body from my old Caldera, which is, same body post in the front, but I had to redo it in the rear. But other than that, this was one of my favorite bodies I did. And, I love the way it looks on this truck. It really makes it look like a monster truck, like from Monster Jam or something. So, hugs it tight. It's not as wide as the Avalanche, but it still looks good. So, I mean, that is something you could throw a 1/10, and you can actually even go as far as what I'm going to show you on the actual Earthquake I have.